Well, since it's still February, I decided on a theme, and I'm reading about love tonight, but not necessarily romantic love. There's so much that we love. And I'm going to start with the word before the word is understood. You know, love is such a big word for just 4 little letters. And I'm starting with little sister. It's my baby sister behind bars, locked in for safety or convenience, probably both. I'm 3, standing outside the wooden playpen, too old to be trapped by the jail set up in the living room. Through wooden spokes, I slip in my red rubber ball, a cloth alphabet book, her favorite Raph the giraffe rattle. She inspects the offerings carefully before passing them back, thinks it's a game. She holds a doll over her head and laughs. A summer wind wafts in through open windows. White eyelet curtains flutter. Late afternoon sun filters through, fashions shadows. The grandfather clock chimes 4. Dust motes hang in the light. My baby sister grips the bars and tries to stand. Letting go, she laughs again. I have no memory before her. The next poem is an almost teen who observes periphery at 12. Woodhall Lake at dawn, gunmetal gray, smooth and still. Wooden cottages dot the shoreline. Red egrets gather on the raft. Rowboats mark time. By 10, the public beach swarms with sunbathers. I spend my mornings floating in shallow waters, hunting shells, constructing castles in sand. Afternoon, I gape at teens rubbing coppertone on crisp bodies. Watch them play hide and seek under cotton beach towels. At night, pulled in by the music, I head to the big house, the lake's historic dance hall. Stand outside in the shadows, where ghosts of Tommy Dorsey and Glenn Miller swing and sway with Sammy Kaye. Couples rock and roll to great balls of fire, dance low and slow to Blueberry Hill. Hoods in jeans loiter in the doorway, practice scowling, smoke camels, sip beer. I dither at the junction, unsure, still safely on the far side, peeking in. We love our animals. And this is a story friends told me of their dog, Stray. They spied the black dog late morning in the walnut orchard. Go home, she shouted, away. They observed him again that evening behind the new barn, scrawny, raw-boned, clearly a stray. She put out a bowl, scraps from dinner. He came to eat when they left, wary, keeping his distance. Perhaps the couple agreed this animal knew other humans. Anger, a boot, a strap. Within weeks, the dog crept closer, circumspect, heedful of a hand. He accepted a piece of steak from an open palm, later a bone to gnaw. Slowly the dog filled out, responded to a touch, a stroke. No further than the porch, she insisted. They had vowed no more pets after the children left. He wanted no bother. She, a farmer's daughter, spurned animals in the house. They named him Stray. Brought him in one bitter night, where he curled up beside them. Good dog, good boy. And, okay. Actually, do I need the mic? Yeah, okay. How's this? Good. Okay. Early frost. Oops. I wanted to introduce the love of seasons, and I picked winter. Early frost. The expected snowfall failed to arrive. And as the silent dawn unfolds, the child sees mosaic patterns of silvery feathers. Angel wings had come to rest on the window overnight. And now, a different kind of season. Autumn colors. We haven't changed a bit, I say to my husband of 40 years, as I dust the walnut frame that holds our wedding photo. He stares at me blankly. His amusement becomes a slow smile that turns into a wide grin as he opens his arms and I slide right in. I was right in my way. Little has changed. And the love of cars, the freedom they represent, passing landscape. He tells me he still recalls the scent of his 1940 pea green suit. He tells me he still recalls the scent of his 1940 pea soup green, two-door Ford sedan. Gas and exhaust, perfuming the air, the sweet aroma of burnt oil during hot Iowa summers, staining driveways and narrow country roads. Gas, 24 cents a gallon at the Cut-Right station on Lincoln Highway. $2 worth to Fort Dodge and back. The radio antenna on the front fender provided the music. Always the music. Windows wide as updrafts of air merge with bursts of freedom and the cadence of being 17. All is the moment, the passing landscape. And sometimes it's just the little things we love. Perspective. Come here, he cries from the living room. Hurry. She hears the urgency, abandons her hot tea, and hastens down the hall. Hurry! She imagines a heart attack, stroke, broken arm. The television set to his favorite auto auction. Look, he declares with longing as a silvery blue convertible advances along a red carpet. A 1939 Hudson, he exclaims. Only 3 ever existed, and this is the last survivor. She lingers, drawn to the boy in him. And love of place. August night at Crater Lake. Perhaps it is the full moon, or the wind as it whispers through spruce and fir, or the clouds as they curl over Wizard Island. or the stillness of this one starry night that makes it ours for the taking. And another love of place. Actually, this poem was just accepted in Amsterdam Quarterly for March. And it's called First Apartment. First apartment, Woodbridge, England. I recall my studio apartment, sparsely furnished. Brass bed, 2-drawer dresser, standalone oak wardrobe, one reasonably sturdy lounge chair, acquiring other essentials, electric burner, tea kettle, mismatched cups, saucers, plates, and a nearly new record player, along with a small collection of LPs, Tchaikovsky, Mendelssohn, from a second-hand shop on Sudbury Hill Road. Even today, yellow mums bring to mind the flowers I bought at Ipswich Market, the earthy scent that lasted for days. I look back on my friend next door, Faith's Arabic coffee, infused with cardamom, penetrating walls. On winter afternoons, branches from a horse chestnut tree brushed my window, cozy in the rustling. Warm summer days found me outdoors, under the tree's dapple shade, poring over Anna Seton's latest novel. At night, I'd listen to strains of Mozart, warm, rich sounds of Dennis Brain's French horn, lulling me into slumber. Well, some of us were lucky enough to love our jobs when Monday was a pleasure. I was one of the lucky ones. First Street Elementary. Early September, the children enter toting stiff new book bags filled with lined notebooks, number 2 yellow pencils, boxes of sharp crayons. How earnest they are, scrubbed and combed, their clean new sneakers squeaky as they trek down brightly lit hallways. And all through the morning, mothers at home move through silent rooms, listening. And one of my favorite teaching experiences, sunlight on ice. The boys' eyes dazzle like the clear winter sky outside my classroom window. Cobalt blue cuts deep into Alaskan winters. He opens one clenched fist, slips into my empty palm, the cold, hard beauty of cut and clarity. Outside, the hoarfrost that formed overnight glitters on silver branches, freezes hard to swings and poles. Intricate feather-like crystals mirror the shimmering stone. Icicles hang low from the north side of the eaves, peel out winter's song. Black-capped chickadees at the feeder chatter. I slide the gifted diamond onto my third finger. His mother's simple solitaire shows brilliant, like sunlight on ice. My arms encircle slender 8-year-old shoulders. Gathering him close, I speak softly. Reach for the phone. And when she came to pick up her diamond ring, she said, "Ah, Mrs. Munson, he loves you." interesting how people meet. I have friends that shared this amazing story. Kismet. In middle age, they combined households, each having endured tragedy. She, the sadness of a long, drawn-out death, hospitals, hospice, desperation. He, a hurtful divorce after 20 years, fury, accusations, trepidation. Casual friends in common brought them together, an invitation, dinner, a symphony, and in that hopeful season, they began again. They found a small house, combined warm, knotty pine with cool Danish modern, his dining set, her white sofa. Rummaging through his musty boxes and her files of ancient history, she casually hands him a black and white snapshot of herself. The Catskills, 5 decades earlier, swimsuited, sunburned, pigtailed. One of a dozen 10-year-olds playing kickball, jumping rope. He clasps the tattered photo before raising his stunned eyes and pointing to a slim boy standing apart, slightly behind the fuss and uproar, softly says, "That's me." I love holidays. You know, one day set aside. And every New Year's Eve, I look for the magic because it happened once. Flight to New York, my college roommate, a party she was invited to. View of Central Park West on New Year's Eve. Peel of crystal, fragrance of worth, the song of chopsticks on a baby grand. Young men turned out in suit and tie. Girls black sheathed from Bonwit Teller, sacks, hair showered in sparkle. Dark blue velvet drapes, drawn open, lay bare the city. I linger at the window, transfixed by the canvas below. Swirls of white, sparkling, feathery flakes, winter's trimmings. 32 floors down, pedestrians navigate slushy boulevards. Horns and sirens muted, intermix with Neil Diamond's beautiful noise. Streetlights illuminate swarms of New Yorkers, heads tucked, hands pocketed. Beyond the crowd, mounds of fresh white snow, blanket bushes, benches, bronze sculptures. All is glitter, reflecting light. And the end of the day, I love the end of the day. He pours the wine, we talk, a coming together before dinner, evenings at 5. Something sensual in the way he uncorks wine. Pauses as it scents the air. Views its ruby tinge as he tilts the bottle toward natural light, spilling in through kitchen windows. Something seductive as he chooses vintage stemware, pours the Cabernet into ample goblets, watches it stream into clear crystal. Hints of berry, plum, currant, suspended over blue tile. I'm warning you now, 2 poems left. This First is the love of lost things. Sometimes I think we spend our life looking for them. Star sapphire. As they pull up the old Berber, she kneels, searches the wooden floor for a stone that fell out of a filigree ring a decade ago. She spots sewing pins, 2 pearl buttons, a bent buffalo nickel, but nothing that reminds her of her lover's eyes at midnight. And I'm going to end with our love for old photographs. I have piles of them before I started putting them in iPhoto and hardly even look at those. And I have 13 albums of my mother's she brought when I brought her to Oregon. But this poem is about one photo, and it's mine. Deep Creek, Alaska. There we were, standing in front of our second-hand Winnebago, arms around each other, smiling into the camera. The old photo puts to mind no cold northern waters, shivery days, hesitant sun, pewter skies, heavy with moisture. Fishing boats queue up at the ramp, and you stand at water's edge, sip mugs of Café Del Mundo, wait impatiently for high tide. I hear the smack of our boat bashing the surf as we ease out of the river and into the bay. Snap of the line as a 40-pound coho takes the lure. Fresh fish for dinner, grilled over an open fire. A jagged beach, the two of us zipped and snug, sheltered from ocean winds by huddling low in the lee of the bluff. Alaska daylight all night long, rain pounding our metal roof, and we, soothed to sleep by wind and tide, burrow deep into the summer of our beginning, when we had forever